This moment has been years in the making, and it remains a hot topic in the community. The first 3 story missions are now available in Overwatch 2. This is my honest review. Let's have a look. Hey guys, I'm Dimzies from the Omnic Post. This should be the easiest video I've ever made, but it isn't. A moment in Overwatch history that should have been celebrated has become some type of test or even a witch hunt. And to a certain extent very reasonable because of everything that happened in the last few years. But this is the point where we cross the line of what is reasonable. This is the moment where the new must and will take distance from the old. And where a new future for this game is shaped. But more about that in a future video. In this video I'm going to give you my honest opinion about the story missions and the event mission that were added during Overwatch Invasion. In other words, all of the PvE content. Now, not everybody is going to agree with me, which is fine. Some will have valid reasons, while others are just stuck in one of those echo chambers. I personally had a lot of fun with these 3 missions. And yes, I paid for them. Blizzard doesn't give me anything. Did I mind paying for them? No. It is the same price as a movie ticket here in Belgium. And I got the same amount of entertainment, about an hour and 20 minutes. And the seats were definitely cleaner. But I can understand that for people that live in other regions that do not have a steady income or that just are not interested in lore, it is going to be different. And I do have to agree, if they had made this free, it would have drawn in a lot more people, which would in the end have made them more money. On top of that, it would have helped to kind of counter some of the general criticisms that Team 4 and Blizzard on the whole are getting right now. Maybe. We'll never know. When it comes to the actual content, then let me start with the story missions. I'm going to try and do this without any spoilers. The way I'm going to do that is by countering a lot of the comments or the criticisms I've seen going around. The most frequent one is that this is just an extension of the Archives missions. I have not been making these videos for super long, but I've been covering Overwatch in other ways for the last 7 years. And I remember a time that these Archives missions, that now are used as the lowest benchmark for PvE content, were released. And we all were super excited. Including the content creators that are labeling this new content as Archives Plus. And yeah, granted, if you owned the game back in the day, you could play this content for free. But we were the ones that asked for more of these Archive stealth missions. And Blizzard's response was a huge promise that they made back at BlizzCon in 2019, which they couldn't deliver on. I've discussed why in previous videos. Long story short, it sucks, it really does, both for the developer and for us as a community, but it can be changed. No matter how many negative comments you put, there's no way back. But my point is that using the Archives as a baseline for failure is kind of weird. But fine, if you choose to do that, let me tell you that these missions are not Archives Plus. They are so much more than that. These missions drive the lore of this game that we have been playing for over 7 years forward in a way that never happened before. These heroes and these maps had become tools for us to use in combat and to plan our strategies on. The only thing that we had in-game that gave them a bit of personality were their voice lines. And every time we discovered a new one or they added a whole bunch, we celebrated that. We got a peek behind the PvE curtain. Well, yesterday that curtain was fully drawn back. And I personally will never look at Gibraltar, Reinhardt, Lucio in the same way again. Suddenly all of these pixels that we picked as mere weapons became personalities. With both qualities and flaws that up till now we had only seen or heard about in the comics and the books, the animated shorts. In other words, outside of the game. I'll do you one even better. I'm actually going to enjoy PvP more because of these story missions. Especially the locations, because they trigger curiosity, delight, recognition. More than Archives ever did, because those were set in the past. There was always less focus on the people and more on the events, and the heroes that were in those missions definitely have changed. Some of them a lot. I do realize that that is my personal experience as a storyteller, as a lore nerd, but I've seen a lot of people that stated that they enjoy the cinematics and the lore. Even some of the people that are very critical about PvE and the game in general. But those people pull a nasty trick. They start dissecting the whole experience, pulling it apart, much like politicians do, or toddlers with their food. You know, pushing the Brussels sprouts aside and munching all of the mashed potatoes. And in this case, the mashed potatoes are the lore and the Brussels sprouts is the gameplay. Let's be honest, in the end you enjoy a meal on the whole. There's no use in separating all of it. That being said, is the gameplay innovative? No. It is definitely a step up from Archives, but it's not like these enemies have super complex mechanics. The AI isn't smart enough to do stuff like hiding behind obstacles or trying to flank you, grouping up. They just have a goal and they go straight for it. It's like a 16-year-old and his first girlfriend. Would all of that have made this into a better experience? Definitely. So is it bad and boring? Hell no. Especially that first run, you are so overwhelmed by these locations, the voice lines, the story, the heroes, that you don't really care about the gameplay that much. Okay, fine, but what the second time and the third time? Does it have replay value? Well, kinda. You can pick different heroes, there's lore that you can unlock. There might be details that you missed in your previous run, but the most important thing that keeps bringing you back is actually the lore and the story. I personally played all of them at least 3 times up till now, and I'm definitely going to be playing them more. I know that for a fact, which is unusual. When it comes to the Halloween mission or the old archives, my community sometimes could spend all night in there. For me, after 3 times I was done. That's enough. Am I still going to be playing these missions at the end of the season? Not likely. But there's a lot of games I can say that about. Look, if you can let go of the things that they promised us back in 2019, which is a personal choice, you are going to enjoy these new missions a lot. They're fun. It makes me hopeful about the future of Overwatch. This is the first step at proper PvE in Overwatch. Something they clearly have been struggling with for the last 5 years. Why? Well, I guess they were a little too ambitious. Again, after Project Titan. And then there's the whole corporate story, which we'll never really know. I don't think we'll ever know what happened. What I know from personal experience is that game development is never a straight line from A to B. It is a struggle. And that struggle got them right here, where they packed together 3 missions and they presented them to us. Probably a little scared, nervous, but very proud. And they're asking us what we think of these missions, and they're listening to what we want to see different, what we liked, to make sure that they do better next time. And they'll keep doing that. PvE in Overwatch 2 is going to be a growing experience. And I look forward to seeing what comes next, especially the next missions, because after that cliffhanger, come on, not cool. Yeah, I need to touch on the event mission too. These are clearly hero missions that they repurposed. And I like that. I think that is a good idea. It would have been a waste if they just threw it all in the bin. And if they can bring it to us in this way every few seasons, that could be fun. But these are more like archives missions. They are very short. There's no real clear story. There's something going on, but it doesn't move the whole plotline forward. On the other hand, it gives them a chance to introduce some characters that we have not seen in game yet, or in this case have heard in game yet. So there's that. But these are free, so you can try it for yourself. Before I go, I made videos recordings of those 3 story missions that I'll be posting in the next few hours. Now I want to warn you, if you're planning to play them yourself and you don't want to be spoiled, don't look at those videos. Yeah, at this point I'm telling people not to watch my videos. I'm doing a good job here. But anyways, I want to save you from spoilers. On the other hand, if you're not planning to buy it and you want to see what's going on, enjoy the videos. There is some extra value to seeing me and my friends go through there. A lot of shenanigans. Now tell me, how did you enjoy the story missions and those event missions? Let me know in the comments. Join me during my streams on twitch.tv/DamesTV and make sure to subscribe for more updates on Overwatch.